Hello my children, how are you? Okay, I'm nice also. So let us start a game. Suppose we are asked to divide 131 by 12. And we have to find the quotient and the remainder. Quotient and the remainder. But if we are not comfortable with the timetable of 12, then it would be difficult for us to divide 131 directly by 12. Now, let us factorize 12 into two factors. 3 into 4, we know very well that 3 into 4 will give 12 as a result. So, we divide 131 successively by 3 and then by 4. So, in succession, we do two operations. Let us divide 131 by 3 first, and then the quotient thus obtained will have to be divided by 4. Then, in two divisions, we will have two quotients and two remainders. For the first quotient, we use the symbol Q1. For the second one, we use the symbol Q2. Q for the word quotient. And for the remainders, similarly, for the first division, we use R1 for the first remainder, and we use R2 for the second one. And you know that the number which is to be divided by 12, that very number 131 is the dividend here. And for the first divisor, we have 3, and for the second division, the divisor is 4. It has been mentioned earlier. So for the first division, let us make it clear that 131 is to be divided by 3, and we are very much acquainted with the table of 3. Then divide 131 by 3. 3 4s are 12. We are left with 1. Then 1 and 1 will make it 11. 3 3s are 9. So the remainder is 2. Therefore, when 131 will be divided by 3, we have 43 as the quotient Q1 and 2 as the remainder R1. Then we should divide 43 by 4, the second factor of 12. So 1 will be there for 4, and for 3 we will have to insert a 0. 4 tens are 40. So we are left with 3 in 43 as the remainder. Therefore, for the second division, the remainder R2 is 3. Therefore, we have found out the values of Q1, the first quotient, Q2 for the second quotient, R1 the first remainder, and R2 the second remainder. Then, what is the final quotient? What is the final quotient? I claim that a final quotient would be this very Q2. The final quotient is this very Q2, that is 10. And for the remainder, for the remainder, we have a formula D1 R2 plus R1. In the diagram, this is D1, this is R2. Northwest corner, this is the northwest corner, and this is the southeast corner. So these two numbers, D1 and R2, will have to be multiplied. Here this is 3, and for R2 we have 3 also. Therefore 3 into 3 is to be performed, and then plus R1. What's the value of R1? Anybody? Anybody else? Yes, you were right. The value of R1 is 2 here for this very particular division. For this very particular division, we have Q1 43, R1 2, Q2 10, and R2 3, and the first divisor is 3, second divisor D2 is 4. Just put down these values of D1, R2 and R1 here. By simplification, we have 9 plus 2, that is 11, is the final remainder. Therefore, the quotient, final means for the division of 131 by 12, final quotient is 10 and final remainder is 11. Is it clear to all of you? Okay. Now, let us check whether the quotient and the remainder will be obtained when we divide 131 directly by 12. Here we have 131. Suppose we know the timetable for 12. Then 12 ones are 12. If we subtract 12 from 13, we have 1. Again 1, but 12 ones are 12, which is greater than 11. Therefore, 11 would be the remainder after inserting 0 here. Therefore, we see that the final quotient, that is the quotient when 131 will be divided by 12, is 10. Here we check whether it is 10 or not. Yes, it is 10. And for the final remainder, we have 11 for by direct division, and here it is 11. So, we have checked the results, those are correct. So, division, this process is correct. Now, without remembering the timetable for 12, we can remember the timetables for the two factors 3 and 4, which will be easier to be used. That's all for today's class. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you once again.